Yeah.
And
Who's there? It's rare. Who's there? It's rare. Come fill your time, this pod's for all. From the Finger Lakes, join in the call. Learn something new about the Cuca Trail. Upstate New York, every episode I tell. Who's there? It's rare. Who's there? It's rare. It's rare.
So what your dad was saying that he thought that like a 6 point or one that's atypical this year might come back looking different next year.
Yeah.
And then Charlie was saying that no, it's like once it's a 6 point, it's always going to be a 6 point. And your dad was like, well, shit, then I guess I'm going to have a bunch of 6 points for the rest of my goddamn life on my land.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know how that works, really.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry for anybody with the volume switches over here. There we go. Yeah, I think, no, my main thing is if I ever see it broken, if you see it broken, there's like still something sticking out, you should be good. But any of my hunting shows, they always say that if they break at the base, they'll never be a typical again, and they'll always have messed up horns. Because it really messes. Because I guess they say like all the blood and growth is actually at the base, kind of like a tree, like a root. They said,
right.
And then after that, there's nothing.
Right.
So if they break at the root,
like a fingernail.
Yeah. You said they'll be fucked forever. But if they're like broken up,
I guess
here,
that happens with fingernails too.
Yeah. I don't know, but I'll believe you.
I do know because that's part of my profession is dealing with injuries to nails. So
there you go.
My biggest deer I ever got had just a chip off one of the tines.
Really?
9 point. It was a beauty. I've got it on the wall at home.
Ooh,
it's a beauty.
Yeah, I've only shot. My biggest is only, I guess a 23-inch wide 8 point. That's not too bad. So
that's big. Yeah, it's a big deer. This one, so the fun thing is, welcome to hunting season, everybody. But the fun thing is I was like 18 years old and they were like, this is a buck of a lifetime. And
really?
it has been. Yeah. And I've only ever seen one bigger one in the wild. And I didn't get a shot at it. My dad, it ran by me bounding through the woods. Somebody must have bumped it. And because other bucks like that don't move in hunting season. They don't move. That's why they're still alive. But my dad was sitting down below me and the buck stopped 10 feet away from him. And he aimed, squeezed the trigger. Nothing happened. So he cycled it and he tried again. Nothing happened.
Okay.
The trigger was all gummed up.
No way.
Yeah.
He hadn't shot it the day before or anything?
No.
Oh, no.
Well, actually, I can't remember if he had or not, but just that it was the trigger was dirty. It was filthy. It was all gummed up. Usually you don't even have to get into the trigger mechanisms when you're cleaning guns, but
just shooting it should have cleared it up, I think.
Yeah, but nope. Well, and that was so this was after it changed to when we've done a lot less shooting since they changed opening day to Saturday instead of Monday. Because when it was Saturday or when it was Monday, we'd all get together on Saturday. We'd have chili. We'd talk about hunting. We'd just catch up and bullshit. We'd sight in our guns. And when they changed it to Saturday, it was just like everybody was in the woods first thing Saturday morning. And that was there was people weren't coming early.
Huh.
So
that shit is hot.
Yes, it's hot coffee.
Don't touch that.
I'm not going to touch it yet.
I made a mistake.
My biggest deer, though, my 9 point. Do you ever do drives?
Only at the end of the year.
At the end
when
of the
no
year.
one else is around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was kind of later in the year, and we decided we were going to do a drive. Back then, we used to do a lot of drives.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the kid. I was like 18 or give or take a year or two. And we're getting ready to go through the side hill. Yep. And there's a field at the bottom, and it's an orchard with all these thorns and stuff.
Oh boy.
So my dad's going to walk the top ridge.
Yeah.
Where it's clear and look down in.
And you're going to walk the thorns.
Like some another guy is going to walk through the field. And then I'm going to crawl through the thorns.
Yeah.
Because I'm the kid.
Yeah.
And everybody's like going to their positions and getting set up. And they're all like trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing, because I'm looking, and I see something kind of brown. I'm like, it's like what would be? It looks like cardboard or something. Like, what the hell is that? And I'm just staring at the thing, and then all of a sudden, it goes. It's like I just see this giant rack, and I'm like, oh my god, it's a fucking elk. I didn't know there were elk here. It's deer hunting season. I guess.
Oh god.
They can't blame me though if I shoot it, because
No,
there aren't supposed to be elk here.
screw them.
So
Getting elk tag.
yeah, so I aim at it, and they're like, what the fuck is he doing?
I'm
Like,
sure.
what are you doing? Like, we're not like they think I'm an idiot because I'm young, and they think I'm gonna like walk through the woods like this or something. I don't know.
Oh,
And I've fucking lit that thing up, and then it kind of, it was curled up with a doe too. A doe popped out,
mm-hmm.
and then the thing, it was mortally wounded, but it didn't die immediately, and it trotted down into that field where everybody could see it.
Yep.
And there was it was like the fucking Civil War. There was lead flying from every direction. They saw that thing, and they were like, gonna put it down. It didn't make it much further. It only made it like.
Did anyone else hit it?
It made, no. I think one might have hit it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it made it like 80 yards, and then I went down, and
It's like the fucking Civil War.
I put it away. It went 80 yards, and it laid down, and it was still breathing. So I put it out, and
There you go.
now it's on my wall.
Final.
I was like,
You took the final kill shot. So it's
Yeah.
yours.
I think I was gonna have a freaking heart attack. If I see a buck like that, it's like you get the adrenaline starts
fever.
flowing. It's crazy.
Yeah. Fucking start. You have to tell yourself to calm the fuck down.
So you got a deer.
Yeah. I did.
What? So you got to tell the story.
Oh,
What's the deer?
It's a pretty
story?
boring story.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. So I'm going down in the woods, and I'm like going to one of my stands beneath the pines, and I'm like sneaking around, and then all of a sudden I see my dumbass little brother. I hear him walking like from a mile away, and I'm like sitting there waiting for him to turn the corner, and he's like coughing and fucking like don't even know, like doing twirlies with his gun, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Jer? And he goes, well, that stand moved when I got in it. I'm not staying in it all day. And I go, so it moved when you got in it. So you sat in it. And then you just decided, well, since it moved when I got in it, I'm going to get out. He's like, yeah, it didn't feel safe. And I go, why wouldn't you just get down when you were getting up there instead of ruining that entire section of woods now, trouncing around like an idiot? And he goes, I don't know. I'm like, go that way and don't fucking come this way. So I have to change my stand. So now I go up to the top of the pines. And the way I walk in, most people like walk, like I like tiptoe. Like I go slow.
Yeah.
Really. So I'm like, and then I inch up into the stand, and in 5 minutes, here comes a doe through we call it the cut. So it's like two sets of pines, and there's this little 50-yard section of no pines.
Mm-hmm.
And what deer like to do on our land is pines to pines.
Right.
You know, because it's like, you're safe. No one can get you in the pines.
Yeah.
So she's like, and you can always tell when they're sneaking because they'll put their ears back.
Yeah.
And their tail will be right like tucked under.
Yeah.
And she's just doing that. And I'm like, oh, she's trying to be sneaky. So, and I'm like looking, I'm like, maybe I'll take her. Just want to get some meat this year. And then all of a sudden, this guy comes out, and he's like kind of turns, and I see, I'm like, oh, he's just a little shit. I'll just leave him alone. And then all of a sudden I hear two deer behind me, and I look back, and then all of a sudden I'm like looking around, like, holy shit, there's all these freaking deer. And then little guy turns his head, and you can see all the way down to the bottom is snapped. And you can see where it's like it's like bleeding. And I don't know, he must have gotten into a fight.
He got into it.
Or somebody shot him there or something.
It could be,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I shot him. Dead. No, that's how it happened. So, but something with that 7mm, when you hit something at 50 yards with that, it won't expand.
Oh yeah,
it's like shooting. It's like a tack, just like bring, like imagine, like it just doesn't like expand really.
Right.
So they don't bleed, even though. And I double lunged him.
Yeah.
And he went on like 50 yards, but when I hit him, he's just like, it was like he didn't even know he was hit. He was like kind of like walked a little bit and then trounced off. I'm like, holy shit, I missed him. Like, how did I miss him?
So did it go straight through?
Oh yeah, all
Yeah.
day. The
Huh.
7mm is just too powerful. I
Is
think
it-
I'm gonna have to get a different caliber. It's too much of a gun.
Well, what round are you using?
Just a regular Remington set, or I have a Hornaday round, like the 7mm mag round.
Is
So
it Full Metal Jacket or is it?
It's got
soft
the
tip?
red tip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
red tip.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they're called, but
It's probably called red tip or something like
yeah,
that.
I don't know. Yeah, just they don't expand right. It's too big of a gun. The best deer
Yeah.
gun in New York State is the 308. It really is. That's the deer gun everyone
like
should
my
have if they're gonna hunt rifle.
270, I think, is a good round too.
It's pretty good.
It's a
I
pretty
just
good
think
round.
the 308 is if I was gonna had to pick the best, even though the 270, I love my 270 and it's a nice gun. Still probably a little overkill.
Yeah, I think so.
But
I think it is,
especially
if you're in the woods.
270, 308's like this, 270's like this. Then you got your 7 mag like this. So
Yeah,
and then 243's here. So I always say like that hot spot 243, 308 is like where you want to be.
so I use these. I think it's called Core Locked. It's like it's got an expansion chamber in the tip. It's got like a little hole in the tip,
Okay.
and then inside there's a hollow cavity.
Yep.
So as soon as that hits anything, it balloons out. Mushrooms.
Huh. Yeah, anything's better. I hate shotgun hunting, so anything's better than shotgun.
I tell you what, like it's a lot more precise.
Those slugs, if they catch
you
a
know, a
branch,
shotgun-
they like ting. Like I've never had a rifle. Like with a rifle, I feel confident, and that's so weird because you always think of shotguns as being a brush gun.
Right.
But anytime I've ever shot a shotgun and hit a branch, it's like it's fuck. Like that, a rifle round just seems like unstoppable. But I've only hunted.
I've had a different experience. Usually,
Really?
if I've seen a lot of people, if they hit something with a rifle round, if it hits a branch, twig, whatever, it's done. Like it just.
And that
there's
makes
such
more
high
sense. That's the way
velocity.
it's supposed to be. But anytime
Yeah.
I've shot a shotgun in brush, no way. Anytime I pull up with a rifle in brush, it's like always a knockdown hit. I mean, I've never hit like a fucking branch, of course, but
Right.
just like the brush itself.
Yeah.
You know? But again, I'm also using a 7mm mag, which is meant for like elk and stuff
those,
like that.
the newer shotguns that have a rifled barrel, they do pretty good if you use sabots in them.
Yeah, I just don't really like shotguns. I'm not a fan. If I wanted to hunt shotgun, I'd hunt with a bow. So I always say, my dad gets pissed. It's like, that doesn't even make sense. I'm like, well, with a rifle, at least I can reach out there.
A shotgun was good enough for me for the first 30 years of my life.
Yeah, well, shotgun was good for me until they made it so you could use a rifle.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they didn't. I must have been 19 or 20 maybe when they was. It was only 9 or 10 years ago. Right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what though, with the change to rifle, and maybe I don't know, but it felt to me like hunting became far more difficult.
Really?
When they made it. Yeah, but unless you had a rifle. If you had a rifle, great, but it was harder to get close to deer, and I saw less deer, and I think it was, another thing that happened with rifle is the drives stopped. Once we got doing rifle, the drives pretty much stopped.
Well, you can go out and smoke a deer at 300 yards.
Yeah.
Try extra hard.
And it just became, unless you had a really good place to hunt.
Yeah.
It made it, I don't know. And maybe that's just in my imagination, but it felt like that lined up with when I started seeing less deer. And
I know I wouldn't feel as safe. Don't feel as safe during rifle season as I did when it was shotgun. I know that.
Sure. Yeah. You can get shot from a half mile away.
Yeah. I don't like that. So something about hearing, like back in the day when you hear like somebody shoot 2 or 3 shotgun shots at something, you'd be like, okay, he's probably just shooting off in the brush at deer he's seen run. When you hear a fucking rifle crack off 4 times, you're like, what the fuck? What are you shooting at, dude? If you didn't hit it the first 2 times, there's no reason to send 2 more flying out there. Especially since, a rifle bullet, just no way. You don't want to get fucking caught with one of those.
I've never had a scope until 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That was my first. So put a deer in front of me now.
No,
it's going to be a lot easier.
Yeah. You're going to have to come out with us.
Absolutely.
Maybe Thanksgiving morning.
Mm-hmm.
See who we have going and figure it out.
Sounds
Actually,
good.
I'm going to give you the gift that you already know about now on air so you can see it. You already know about it, right? Yeah? No? Maybe not.
I don't know. Maybe I've.
It's a deer penis.
Is it a penis bone?
It's a penis bone.
Oh, is it a deer heart?
It's a deer penis bone.
It's a deer penis bone.
Yeah.
Are we going to use it for distilling?
Yeah, we're gonna keep it for. You're gonna drink your coffee with it.
I'm gonna drink my coffee from a deer
Yeah,
penis
there you
bone.
go.
What do you got?
There you go, fella.
Ah, the heart.
Since you love your deer hearts,
Yeah, matters of the heart.
I won't eat it. So it's yours. There you go, live.
Now here's the
People just seen Phil
the
get
right atrium, the left atrium.
the deer heart from the deer I got.
Well, that's a good, healthy looking heart. I'll tell you
So
what.
I cleaned it up. I cut where I thought you should cut. I've never eaten one.
No?
And then I put it in a like saline, like a salt solution.
Oh, you brined it?
With water, so all the blood would leak out.
Good. Well,
Then I froze it for you, so that should be
Thank you.
I don't know. I guess it bled a little more, but
that's all
it
right.
should be good for you to do whatever the hell you want to do with it. So, and they said freeze it. I thought you could put it in the refrigerator, but
Frozen's a good idea.
They said
for organ meat.
yeah, to freeze
Yeah.
it, and then they said unthaw it whenever you're gonna do something with it. So yeah,
I'll tell you what. I made an
Yeah.
awful joke on Thursday,
Oh, boy.
and nobody got. One guy got it. Thank God somebody got it. And I repeated it, and
Mhm.
he continued to get it, and they continued to not get it. I was like,
What was the joke?
and I was trying to explain to them that I didn't mean that it was bad. That I was just, like they didn't even want to hear the explanation of what awful is. You know what awful is?
What the word awful is?
OFFAL.
Man, why do I feel like that's an animal? Is it not? What is it?
Awful is the word for organ meat.
Oh, is that? Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's something about meat. Okay, I knew it
Yeah.
was something like that.
Organ meat is awful.
Okay.
Yeah. So I always make, organ meat's awful. There was a joke, or there was a question at trivia,
Uh-huh.
and Marianne asked, when you get the turkey for Thanksgiving, what do you call all of the extra stuff that comes inside the turkey? What's the word for that collectively? And
Giblets. That's what I always call them.
Giblets. But I said, yeah, giblets are awful.
Yeah.
And Chet got it. Nobody else got it.
Huh.
So I explained to them that awful is.
I guess I say
the word for organ
giblets
meat.
weird. You say giblets.
I say giblets. I don't know. Maybe I say it weird.
No, I think you're right. I've just always said it like that. So at Christmas we have we make like giblet stew, and it's like put it in this like red sauce. You put like all these like the neck and
Yeah.
all the fun shit in there, and then
A lot of flavor there.
and then you make like white rice, and then you put it over top of white rice in a homemade like red sauce.
Huh.
Dude,
It must be your mom's recipe.
it's just like an old Spanish recipe
Yeah.
is what it is.
It's
Yeah.
not like something
So-
coming from your mom's side.
Yeah, and that's what it is, and it's fucking good, dude.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Well, of course there's rice.
Is it spicy?
Goddamn Spanish people eat rice. Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then we drink coquito, and I don't know if you've ever even heard of that, but
Coquito.
yeah, it's
It's like a little Coke.
it's Spanish eggnog. I wish it was. Wish it was
Spanish
Coke.
eggnog.
Yeah, so instead of using milk, they use coconut milk, and you use rum, and you use like Coco Loco, like the low Coco Lopez, like the coconut cream in a can as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then you add like your cinnamon and your nutmeg and your sweet what is that, condensed milk, sweet condensed milk.
Huh.
Yeah. And then so you do use some milk, but not like milk, like the condensed milk. And then you mix it all up, and it's fucking phenomenal. So pretty good
Crazy.
stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah. Should I throw that back in the freezer? Oh, it's pretty frozen.
It'll be.
solid.
Yeah. It's not going anywhere.
What would you do with it? What do you do with it?
I'll probably slice it up and fry it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Accidentally
When it's fried in butter.
when I was trying to cut it off, I accidentally you'll notice that I accidentally stuck a knife in there here. So sorry, buddy.
That was.
Well,
No.
that probably ruined the best
How
part.
can I possibly transplant this now
Yeah.
with a hole in it?
Yeah, I stabbed it right in the heart on it. So I'm like, where the fuck is the heart? Whoever's watching, so like, this is a gruesome ass podcast today.
Well, I thought about, and I thought about for the title just talking about man stuff, but I didn't want to be sexist. Sometimes women like hunting and
Yeah.
talking about trucks and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it's just for men. It's for everybody.
So we had this big conversation, me and all my buddies, the other night before deer season, kind of get together and just talk shit. My one buddy goes, "This year, if it's brown, it's down."
All right.
And my other buddy goes, "Well, why the fuck would you hunt like that?" So, and I'm like, here we go. So it's like the typical argument every year. Like, you should hunt trophy bucks, or should you hunt because you enjoy doing it and you want to do it for the meat? And like, I'm like, I already know where this is going to be like a non-ending battle.
Yep.
And all of a sudden I came up with the greatest thing. Even though I do trophy hunt, I've only shot 2 bucks now 3 in my entire life. And both of them were 8 points and decent. The rest were all doe. Because I let them all go. And I go, hey, so let's say our buddy here shoots a button buck or shoots a spike horn. And he goes, yeah. And I say, what will that be in 3 years? He goes, I don't know, maybe an 8 point. I'm like, it's still going to be a deer. And he goes, holy shit, what the hell did you just say? And I was like, it's just going to be a deer. I mean, at the end of the day, he shot a deer. You should be happy for people who, like, I see people rag on people who shoot doe or shoot these, unfortunately, shoot little button bucks. And it's like, they're excited. Like, yeah, why not just be excited for them? Yeah, maybe they don't wait.
Fed their family.
Yeah, maybe they don't wait in the woods. And a lot of times people that are excited are the ones that aren't wearing, like what I have, Field and Stream and Under Armour. You know, they're wearing pass down camo, using grandpa shotgun, and they get a deer, they're happy. So I try to, what do you think? What's your take on it?
I used grandpa shotgun until 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's a little bit of both. I'm somewhere in between, as I am on a lot of issues. I haven't shot a deer in a couple of years.
Yeah. Do you wait for trophies?
If I think, no, yes and no. So what I do, my process when I'm deciding whether or not to shoot, if I see a big doe, I'll usually consider it.
Sometimes it's hard to decide what's a big doe and what's not, though.
It is.
When they're by themselves, you're like,
it's hard to tell when they're alone.
Is she little? Is she big? I can't pick it out.
But what I do is, though, so if like 1 or 2 doe come through, I just kind of, I watch to see how they're acting. And if it seems like, and it also depends on what time of the season. Early in the season, I might let some doe go. Later in the season, I'm going to take a doe. If they look like they're messing around, like there's a buck following them, then I'll let them go.
That's a good idea.
And if it looks like they're just off doing their thing, then I might take one.
Yeah, our idea of not shooting doe is they've probably already been bred. So you can guarantee if you take that buck behind him, she's going to have 2 more, 3 more to replace him. Where, maybe he could breed a bunch of other doe, but the more that I see is a dominant buck will actually breed most of your doe in your woods. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that they bred multiple.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like the dominant guy, like he's like, I mean, it's just like real life. Like the alpha male dude, he gets the women. So it's like same thing in the woods.
Pass those genetics on.
Yeah. And that's kind of who you want.
Absolutely.
Sticking your doe is the big dog. Yeah. So not the little guys. So yeah, it's pretty interesting.
You know, I read an article, man, this might have been 20 years ago now, that talked about controlling the deer population. And in order to, part of the way that they decide how many doe permits to put out is that they got this formula, whatever. But essentially the idea is if you want to keep it even, if you want to have the same number of deer next year as you have this year, you have to kill 40% of the doe.
What if you want more of the deer?
You kill less than 40% of the doe.
And that's what they do. Really? Yeah, because I saw a chart kind of showing where, depending on tags, if there will be less deer or the same deer next year, like you were saying. I mean, they didn't say, but I didn't know it was 40%.
Yeah.
So that must be how they do it.
They might have refinagled that since then. That was a long time ago, but that was it. They said 40%. And because almost all of them will have 2. Some
will have 1, some will have 3.
Yeah. But the average and the majority of them have 2. So that's how they do it.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Because I always wondered how they did that chart, because they always put a chart out every year, and it shows, well, this area increase, this area decrease, or this area stay the same, and always it stay the same or decrease. And it must be the decrease areas are where the most doe permits have been handed out, I guess, is like what you were saying. I'm sure they probably must have
because
done
they're
it stat-wise.
reported, so it's the most they get filled. They track if they get filled or not.
No, they do it before the season starts.
Right, but they use the previous year's.
Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought they were like trying to guess by how many doe permits they gave out.
And I don't know. Maybe they might have other.
Yeah,
I mean, if anybody knows, write us an email. It's rahr@gmail.com.
Do you report your deer?
Yes.
I mean, you tag them, right?
I do.
Okay,
Yeah. Well,
well,
I tag them. I tag them. You're supposed to report them.
Yeah.
I
guess we shouldn't say this shit on air.
Yeah, report them. Yeah.
Yeah, I reported everything I've ever shot. Like, yeah, even Tweety Bird fucking reported to DC.
Yeah, I shot a red squirrel a couple years ago, and I just want, hey, Cuomo, I shot a red squirrel on October 3rd. Sorry, October 17th. I don't know what. Oh, they're not protected. It was fucking July. I don't know.
My dog got a bunny rabbit the other day, so just want to let you know.
That's impressive.
Don't put him down, Cuomo.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Oh, dude, our dogs.
Is he on him?
No. Cato's not. Shadow is the
Shadow. Did Shadow nail it or Cato?
It's probably Shadow. Cato doesn't kill anything. He once chased a rabbit down. I watched him. With my own 2 eyes, watch this. Chase the rabbit outside the distillery, get over top of it, licked it a couple of times, and was like jumping because he just wanted to chase. He didn't want to hurt him.
He just want to play with it.
Yeah, like, and this rabbit's like, fuck, dude. And I like grab it, and I'm like, Cato, because a lot of people don't know, rabbits die from heart attacks a lot.
Right. Yeah.
It's just something, I don't know what it is, but
I've heard of that.
Yeah, you can just like some people have shot or pass out. So some people have shot and they think they kill this rabbit. And you like go to grab the rabbit, and it's fucking alive and starts sprinting. You're like, what the hell? Yeah, because they just get like so over.
Just give it a little tap on the noggin.
They get overworked, man, and just out.
That's crazy.
I read hummingbirds can pass out like that too. Like their hearts get going so quick that they'll just. Yeah, pretty interesting.
Think about how tiny that heart has to be.
And imagine how fast that thing beats.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be unreal.
Because they don't ever stop.
It's pumping less blood than ours, though.
They don't ever stop flying, right? Isn't that true?
I think they do stop, yeah.
They do stop.
Yeah, like they sleep. They have their... Yeah.
I don't know. I just read something about like something crazy about them. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah, who knows? Don't come to me with hummingbird knowledge, but man, look at that beautiful heart.
That is a nice looking heart.
Look at how pristine that is. Can you believe I missed it by that much and it's still pristine? You'd think he'd have a heart attack. It exploded.
Yeah, I mean, really, that should have a hole in it from something other than a knife.
There should be a right there. Actually, when I was...
If you would have hit the heart, maybe it would have expanded.
When I was inside of this poor deer, and you really like look at it, I've got a bunch of deer. The heart sits way too low to ever make a good...
It's hard to get a good shot at it.
Like, if you want to talk about being a good hunter and making an ethical shot, you would never try for the heart because it's so low. It like sits like at the bottom of their chest and the way they stand. So you'd have to like try to, if you were up like above them, you'd have to like go, because this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like you've seen
double lung's a way to go.
Yeah.
Just a high percentage shot. Take a high percentage shot all day long.
Where I got this guy.
Yeah.
Like the perfect boom, straight through, on both sides. So, but yeah, so that's you just save that picture. So when you're eating them, you can just kind of look at them.
It's good to be close to your food. I think, a lot of people think that hunting's not humane, and I think they're so far from reality. I think it's the most humane way to get food that exists.
Well, people don't get to see how the poor cows die and the chickens and the sheep and
and they try to do that as humanely as they can. But I'm not even so worried about the moment of death, because that's like a fraction of their life. It's just that this deer got to live free for 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's about 2.5 years.
And like it wasn't confined. It could roam wherever it wanted.
And most of them only live to be. A lot of people don't know around here. If you kill a 5-year-old deer, it's never done.
Yeah.
Most of these monster deer are only 3-4 years old. They just have good genetics. Like a good 3-year-old buck is a monster.
I think mine was 4.
Yeah, and they say after 4, then they start to regress, and it's not worth the shit. So at the end of the day, I mean, I do like New York's new thing they're doing. Did you see that?
What's that?
Only shoot 2.5-year-old deer.
Huh. Well, they're just promoting that.
Yeah. They're saying, let them go, let them grow. Yeah. I think it's kind of, you know,
that's a nice idea.
Even though we were just talking about what we talked about, still there's, if you don't have to, and, you know, I mean, some people you only get to go out once, and, you know, so whatever you can get. But if you can, like, wait around, and especially if you want better deer in your woods, because that's what I'm always trying to do is we take out, my dad does too. I don't know why he told you he doesn't. Because he'll take out little basket racks all the time, and he'll just say, well, it's off because they just don't. And then same thing with like long spikes. We had a deer called Toro, massive, and but I want him to hang him up because he was so cool looking.
Yeah,
but just, you know, another deer is never going to be worth a shit. And then that guy with a broken tine, he'll always be all funky. And I think that's the way. And we don't even shoot doe. So
right.
Yeah, the only time I shoot doe is on other people's property. Because a lot of my friends, they'll be like, you know, brown it's down on their place because they don't give a shit. Sure. They just want to go out and hunt, and we all get one and have fun. And so that's when we go and knock them down. So,
well, I was hoping to be hunting yesterday.
Yeah, it's probably looking like Thanksgiving for you now. I got the perfect stand for you. I got a good one.
All right, I'm in.
It's a long walk, but you're in pretty good shape right now, so you'll be fine.
I'll just ride my bike,
and it's uphill a whole way back. That's the worst part about our properties. It's like all
to drag it uphill.
It's all downhill, and then it's like, dude,
I'll just ride my bike. That's the best way because deer don't get spooked by machines.
I just thought about this.
Vehicles.
When I was dragging that deer out yesterday, I was like, you never know how out of shape you are.
Oh, yeah.
So you grab a hold of like 140-pound deer.
Yeah.
And you're like, here we go.
Like, what the fuck?
Because I didn't have a knife on me.
Oh.
So
that's how you get a deer. You have to leave your knife in the truck.
So yeah, exactly. Because I go, I'm not going to see anything.
Yep.
Or I'm not going to there's not any monsters out today. So I just like, I'll just sit up here. And then I do it. And then like I call my dad, I'm like, hey, I need your fucking knife.
Yeah.
And he's got to walk from the bottom. So I'm like dragging this thing out, trying to get it out in the open. And I'm about halfway. I'm like, what the fuck?
You need to lighten this up.
And I go, what did the Indians do? Like, how they drag these fucking deer out? Or the settlers? Like, what did they do?
You just quarter it.
You think the settlers were quartering deer?
Yeah, they just skin it and quarter it right there. Why would they haul out the guts and the bones? They're not going to eat that.
What about the guts? I thought they would have tried to gut it and then take it out and let it hang for a while.
I don't think so. I think they just quarter it.
But how do you quarter it and bring it back?
Well, you just hook the sinew. You just hook the heel cord.
Do you think they knew how to do that? I mean, I know now
they knew it a hell of a lot better than we do.
Than we do now?
Hell yeah.
You don't think we know everything now when it comes to that stuff?
No, I think they lived it it. Like that was how, if they didn't do that, they wouldn't have meat. They were far more adept hunters than we are.
I'm sure. Yeah.
They'd have one gun. That's all they'd need.
Only a bow and arrow.
Or a bow and arrow.
If we're talking Indians, I don't know settlers.
But they knew all. They knew, and I mean, Native Americans, maybe they didn't leave behind because
I keep saying Indians. We're gonna get demonetized. Native Americans.
You know, the story is that they used the entire animal. They didn't let any of it go to waste. I mean, for me, that'd be leaving out the gut pile and hunting coyotes and fucking bears or shit.
I do that.
Just hunt over the gut pile.
I always do it. Try to get a coyote the next morning.
Yeah. But no, they knew those animals inside and out.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Well, anyways, moral story is about 50 feet. I think to myself, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to admit defeat right now, and I'm just going to wait here until the four-wheeler comes.
Go get the four-wheeler. Yeah, go get the four-wheeler.
That's what we did. I said, fuck this. I'm done.
A long drag, man. I'll tell you, a long drag.
I made it literally. It was probably more than 50 feet. It was literally probably. So when I hit him again, it didn't expand. So he ran about 100 yards, even though he's double lunged. It doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah, they don't care.
And so like
that adrenaline gets flowing.
I'm in the pines because he was coming out, so he ran into the pines. So I'm like getting stuck in the eye, and I'm like dragging him fucking out. And then I'm about 50. And when I got, like I said, like 50 yards out, I was seriously like, no way, done.
Do you use a rope to drag him? That helps.
Just usually I just fucking
you just grab him.
I used to put him over my shoulder, but my dad doesn't like that. So he thinks if
get shot.
somebody's in the woods, somebody might actually fucking smoke me. So
you think that how fucking dumb they'd have to be?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Some people are that dumb.
They are. It's true. But you know, just a rope makes it a lot easier to drag.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot easier to drag.
I mean, anything you can hook into their
it's a lower angle.
What the hell's that thing called there?
No, I just do a loop around their neck.
Oh,
or if it's a buck, just loop it around the antlers.
My dad likes to he fucking shings this and ropes it and just drags it out by the back feet. It's pretty cool. But like with the 4-wheeler, what we do is we put a chain around the neck and just drag it out.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah, my dad used to before there was 4-wheelers, and well, maybe there was in the 80s. I don't know.
Had 3-wheelers.
He would go down in those woods. There was no trails or anything, and he told me he used to go down and he would bring a like a little guess kind of like a thing you put around your shoulders,
like a harness,
and then hook to the deer.
Oh yeah.
And he said, and I can't imagine, like he from like way farther than where I was, and I only went 50 yards.
No, those things were great.
He would drag those deer
out
of there, and he told me he said it would take him hours, and all he'd do is every time he'd like pick a point, he'd say, "I'm going to make it to that point." And he said he'd stop. And you wait, and you just pick a point and keep going.
It's exhausting. It's like
nuts.
And then you're already, by the time that you shoot the deer, you've been sitting there just like shivering and freezing, and your hands can barely move to squeeze the trigger. And then you get your hands in there.
Oh, so warm.
It's so warm, and you feel it just. And then you're like stripping down.
Just like you want to crawl into it like Tom Green.
But now you're like you were shivering and shaking, and now you're like in your t-shirt, just gutting the thing, and then you start dragging it, and you're like half naked, and the freaking it's like 10 degrees out,
you're
and
sweating,
you're like just dripping.
Hypothermia setting
it's like
in.
The sweat is just freezing here. It's crazy.
Yeah,
there's just like steam rolling off.
This is today, dude. I took a freaking. Like how cold out it was here.
Oh yeah, it's bullshit.
I mean, it's just
although a little snow does make hunting a lot.
It's freaking going,
a lot easier.
Man.
Yeah,
pretty cool in slow motion.
Yeah, that's neat.
But no, and for people watching, if you're ever thinking about hunting or if you've ever hunted, so the worst time to gut a deer is when your cold ass hands go into the warm deer. Don't do it. Warm your hands up. Make sure you have feeling so you don't fucking end up cutting yourself.
That's a good point. Yeah, you want to be careful.
A lot of people have died next to their deer. It's true. Like a lot of hunters, because you're in there and you're fumbling around and you don't know if there's an arrow broadhead in there and you got yourself.
If you're hunting with an arrow.
You also don't know where your knife is and where your hand is. You know what I mean? It's pretty, and a lot of people fucking die.
Oh, you mean like a broadhead, like maybe the deer lived and it's just I never thought of that.
Yeah. It's happened. A lot of guys have died because they reach because when you reach up and you
got to reach all
you try
the way
to
up
grab
in there.
from the throat down,
the esophagus.
Yeah, a lot of times if there's an arrowhead,
I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's up top.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, dude. Pretty scary.
All
stuff.
the deer. Yeah, I've never had that happen to me.
I have.
You've had that happen.
My dad has too. We've had arrows in our deer. Yeah, a lot of times what it is it's a shoulder shot with a
and it's just
broadhead in
bone
it, and it like kind of
deflected off the
deflects
scapula.
in, gets in a little bit. Yeah.
Huh.
You should almost know if it was recent because they should have some sort of limp or something.
Right. Yeah, it wouldn't be acting normal.
Yeah, but no, we've had it happen.
That's crazy.
So.
Think about just
that's bad luck.
The fact that they survived that is amazing.
The fact that they can take, I mean, it's crazy.
Damn, boo. Marlene's watching.
Do I know Marlene?
No, I love Marlene. She's one of the nurses from
Oh,
New York City. Yeah.
Because Marlene probably hates our hunting talk.
I think she's down in Texas now.
Oh, maybe she likes hunting.
Marlene, check this out. I got a heart. She loves doing Facebook videos too.
Does she?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wait, I think you've shown me videos of her pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah. So it was fun hunting.
So instead of hunting opening day like I'd like to, I was under my truck, my new truck that I just got.
Is it fixed? I see you driving it.
I drove it here. I hope it's great. I'm waiting. I lost somehow between I didn't go anywhere other than advance. So hoping that I didn't like drop. My boss drove me, so I'm hoping I didn't like drop it in his truck or something. But I can't find my damn voltmeter. I was using my voltmeter to test it on Friday.
Did you ever think about just grabbing both ends and seeing what it was like?
Do a little defibrillator.
Okay. Yeah.
But can't find the damn thing.
Really?
I swear to God, I put it.
Those things are
in the front seat of my truck.
Aren't they? They're like $25, $30 bucks.
Yeah. Like
you don't
25, 30
you don't
bucks.
want to lose them.
I put it right on the seat in my truck, I think, and I can't find the damn thing. I don't know where it is. So I was trying to. So anyway, I replaced the alternator. The alternator was fried. The thing was completely toasted. They put it on the machine to test it, and it wouldn't even run through the test because it had a short circuit in it, which is what drained the battery, which is why it was completely dead the other day.
Yeah.
It wasn't completely dead today, but it did look like maybe it had lost a little bit of charge. So I got to find if it's still losing or not. But at the very least, I think it's safe to drive now. So that's good.
So,
but I'll tell you what, you have to, on my truck.
What about the frame?
You have to remove the power steering pump.
Okay.
To get the alternator off.
Really?
Like you can get it off almost, and then like the last half inch, it bumps into the power steering pulley.
Weird.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. So it should have been like in most trucks, that's like a 45-minute job tops. And it took me 4 hours one day and 2.5 hours the next day to get it done. And I'm somewhat efficient.
Now, wait, what about the frame?
Well, what about it?
Has anything been done?
No, I haven't taken it up. I was waiting to get it running before I could take it up to Toyota and have them look at it. So we'll see.
Gotcha. What about that Mennonite guy?
Well, he fixed the one part.
What about the other part? He can't fix that?
I didn't ask him to. I haven't shown it to him. I was just going to take it to Toyota first because I want to see if they can just replace it.
For a lot of money. Well,
there was a recall. My truck wasn't included in the recall, but most of those trucks all got their frames replaced. If they had rust issues, they all got recalled, and they do. It's like $15,000 worth of work that they get paid. I could probably do it for 10 or less, but a brand new frame costs $6,000 just for the part, and that's not shipping or anything. So
crazy.
I don't know. I think if it comes to that, I'm probably selling it and letting somebody else deal with it, and I'm just taking a hit.
If they won't replace the frame?
If they won't replace the frame, if they won't replace the frame, but it will pass an inspection, then I'll keep it, and I'll get it repaired. But if it won't pass inspection or whatever, then I'll probably just I'll sell it and let somebody else handle it. It's not ideal, but
yeah, you could maybe.
And this time,
did you ever think about getting a horse?
I think the welding. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. Yeah,
dude, you could just ride a horse
around.
A
fucking horse,
dude. That'd be sweet.
How badass would it be if I just like came up on horseback?
Dude, there's a guy over at Two Goats Brewing. If you're ever there on like the weekend, this dude just fucking takes his horse everywhere. So he's always got his horse at Two Goats.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like he comes to the brewery on his horse.
How cool would it be though if you just saw me riding down Main Street?
Yeah,
on horseback.
There's nothing that says you can't, right?
I don't know. I only ever see people in carriages.
Yeah, I just wonder if there's anything that says you can't ride a horse around.
I don't know. I'm curious about that though. I think that
Do you know how to ride a horse?
But I need land. I watched a lot of Westerns when I was a kid.
You've never rode a horse?
I've ridden a horse.
Okay.
I've ridden a I've ridden horses a few times. It's been like 25 years since I've done it.
Yeah,
But
I'm about in the same boat.
when I
dude.
did it, I was a natural. Like I hopped on that thing and I was like, all right, yep, and like I knew exactly what to do.
18 years for me. I was like fucking 10.
Yeah.
And my dad and I are trying to go on this elk hunt in Wyoming.
Oh.
And half the hunt is like they say you're on horseback.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, I don't really know how to ride a fucking horse, so I don't know if I can do this hunt because like especially you're up.
The horses know what to do. You're not
if
training.
You're
you don't
up
have to
in the
train
mountains of
horse.
Wyoming, dude.
Yeah.
Like you better kind of know what you're doing.
Oh,
it's not like you're like on the prairie where you're just like
you need to be able to like. Okay, I need to lean this way a little bit so I don't fall off damn horse.
These horses are taking you like over some terrain, dude. It's no joke. The reason they use horses instead of ATVs or anything else is Are you gonna fight Gina at work for me? Please, will you fight her?
I actually get to see Gina at work sometimes now. Because I get to go to work occasionally.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you? Is this any better, Gina?
Does that help? Jesse's wearing all this camouflage. He's hard to see in here.
What about? Wait.
And you know what? Actually, it blends in with the background here. So.
What about this, Gina? Is this better? What if I put the American flag on? Oh, I don't know which way. There you go. Yeah.
I can't believe you're wearing that Trump flag after the election.
That's what people are calling the American flag, the Trump flag. Is that
no? I was just making fun of Gina, but because a lot of all the people with the flags on the backs of their trucks and stuff.
Yeah, got you.
Gina loves putting flags in the back of her truck,
America.
driving around. I'll tell you what, Gina, if you had like 3 or 4 more flags in the back of your truck, Trump might have won. That's what it takes. You got to have more flags in the back of your truck.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Gina. I was out in the woods and I didn't really want to leave, but I knew if I told Phil that I wouldn't come, that he'd probably come in the woods and scare the deer away anyways. So I was like, I gotta go. There was a doe out in front of me, and you never really want to get out of your stand when a deer's out in front of you because you A, don't want to spook them, and B, you never know what's coming out behind them. So kind of want to let them get their asses going on their own. So yeah.
I'm not opposed, for hunting season if we move this to like after dark.
After dark. I won't go out this much again. Just the first couple days, Thanksgiving, and then every Saturday. Other than that, I probably won't go out.
Okay. Yeah, I need to get some meat. I need to
well, I have some meat for
fill
you.
my freezer.
So you got some heart meat that'll last
Hell yeah.
you.
That'll last me like.
What do you do? Slice it up, throw it in a pan with some butter.
And I get this thing defrosted and some butter.
Or would you don't want to put tallow on deer heart, do you? Maybe?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, go for it. What do they taste like?
It's just a little bit. It's just kind of metallic. It tastes like organ meat a little bit.
What's the texture? Does it taste like meat?
It can be chewy, yeah. It can get chewy. So if you don't do it, you got to slice it kind of thin.
I did exactly. So you ever heard of Steve Rinella? The meat eater?
I've heard that name, yeah.
He's on Netflix. And he's got the book. He's got all the books on hunting, and he's hunted everywhere. He
doesn't eat that much meat.
40%.
Yeah, that's like bullshit. You can't call yourself the meat eater and eat 40%. I'm the meat eater.
He has a book, how wild game and how to cook it, and so I was like in the book, and he's like talking about preparing it, and I did exactly to the T what that man told me to do. So
cool.
And the saltwater solution was pretty. He called it a saline solution because I guess saline's just salty water.
Yeah, it's just brine.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So you're like saline. I'm like, I got some for my eyes. That doesn't sound like Phil wants to eat it. So
no, that'll give you horrible diarrhea.
You'll die
and vomit.
Yeah, it won't be good.
Yeah, it's not good for you.
So then I found out that it's just salt water.
Yeah, just salt water.
So I just stuck it in there, and he explains that what it does is that the ventricles hold blood.
Yeah.
And when you put the salt in it, that they'll
replaces it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So should be good, dude. Should be proper.
I'm excited. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. You can bring some in for Gina to eat. What do you think, Gina? No? She left us.
No, I don't think she's interested.
She wouldn't eat deer heart?
I don't think she'd eat deer heart.
Does Gina's husband not hunt?
I don't think he hunts. No. But they do like venison, but I don't think they hunt. So
Gonna have some venison jerky for next week's show.
Ooh, hell yeah.
It's gonna be good.
I love venison jerky.
Yeah. I wish I loved venison meat as much as I do other wild game. It's just not. It's good, but it's not as good as like elk meat or as good as moose or as good as axis deer or antelope. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know what it is about whitetail. They just have this thing about them. So
I've had really good luck with venison.
I mean, I mean, you can eat them.
It's partly how you process it, I think.
I don't know, because we process all the animals we kill the same way, and all of them are better.
Huh.
Shut up, Mayor. Yeah. So,
Mary, Jesse's girlfriend is thinking it's funny that he's dating a nurse and doesn't know what saline is.
Yeah. Anywho, so out of all the animals we've processed, I really don't like the ram. I shot a ram. That was horrible. Like, just
you didn't like the ram?
No.
Where did you shoot a ram? That sounds awesome.
This like ranch up in the mountains in the Adirondacks. They got like, I don't know what, 300, 500 acres or something. And they have wild boar, ram, and like, I think that's it. Maybe like weird. Oh, they had a fucking water buffalo, dude. I gotta tell you a story. Gotta tell you this fucking story. This is the greatest story ever. So like I'm fucking like walking, and the guy, first thing he gets there, he's like, if you see the water buffalo, don't interact. And I go, what? And I go, like, what the a fucking what? Why do you have a water buffalo? He's like, people pay big money to kill water buffaloes. And I'm like, okay.
Don't interact with it.
So like I'm walking, and I'm not shitting you, Phil. Like in my first hour, like I'm like going around, like getting to the stand. I like fucking come around this corner, and there's a fucking water buffalo like drinking.
It's like
staring at me, and I'm like, are water buffaloes really that mean? Because I didn't know what they were. Like I have no clue. And then I find out that they kill more people than fucking like anything, like more than a Cape buffalo. I thought Cape buffalo were the mean ones. It was like water buffalo are the really mean ones.
That's crazy.
So, anyways, I get there, and this fucking buffalo just like stands up and looks at me and goes, like hits its hoof down and like makes a noise, and I go, oh fuck no. And like, so I call my dad. I'm like, Dad, I'm gonna have to shoot this water buffalo. He goes, if you shoot that fucking water buffalo, you might as well shoot yourself dead, because I'm not fucking paying for it. That's all he cared. And it was hilarious. So this thing's like, so it's got me by this tree, because it keeps coming closer, and it's like going like this, like its head's doing this thing, and he's like wobbling, and he's like hit, and I'm like fucking high. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna fucking die. And like my dad calls me back. He's like, that costs $5 fucking grand. You shoot that fucking water buffalo, I'll shoot you. I swear to God, Phil, it is the greatest, one of the greatest.
Just
stories. It was so
don't
bad.
Look at it.
It was so bad. So finally, like I get away from it, and like I was just like, well, I'm not going over there. So like I found somewhere else to fucking be. It was pretty funny story.
That's awesome.
And then that's where I shot the Russian wild boar. It's like 350 pounds. It's a monster. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I've got a friend. We need to plan a trip. You have your passport?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know when. Sometime after the pandemic, we need to go to Switzerland.
Switzerland?
I've got a friend in Switzerland who does some hunting. Tom Haas.
What's there to hunt in Switzerland?
His family owns a hotel in Lugano. It's beautiful.
Okay.
And they hunt Steinbach.
What's a Steinbach?
It's like a big freaking ram.
Really?
Yeah, they're cool. Look it up. Look it up.
Steinbach.
Do the Google image. I'll pull it up here.
I was hoping they had red stags. So
Steinbach. So let's see. It's a freaking beast. Why is it doing this? Okay, here we go. View file. I'm just going to pull it up on the screen so people can see what a Steinbach is.
Oh, God. So I have 2 Jareds in my phone, and I've been texting the wrong Jared while I've been hunting. Oops. He's
Check that beast out.
Who's this?
How cool is that?
Whoa!
Like, how'd you like to bump into one of those?
It's a Steinbach.
That's a Steinbach.
Yeah.
So
never heard of that.
they're loaded with those in Switzerland, and he hunts those.
Oh, dude, they
And
probably
like
taste like shit.
Reindeer and stuff. But oh my, I don't know. It's probably I like goat.
You won't like wild goat. I'm telling you, dude.
You don't
Especially
think
a
so?
male, a big male. They're like fucking chewing through leather.
Huh?
Telling you.
Yeah, I've never had one, so I don't know.
Elk. The best meat I've ever had is muffalo. So
Muffalo?
yeah, it was half moose.
Is that like beef? Oh,
half buffalo burgers? So
what?
Mixed
Mixed together. It's like,
Yeah.
what? How did they get them to fuck?
No.
sorry for my language, but I'm just trying to picture how they got the moose and the buffalo together.
No, we had. So my dad had buffalo meat,
So the
and his buddy
best-
Baird had
Wait,
moose
hold on.
meat.
The
He was
best
like,
meat you ever
burgers.
had?
The best burger I've ever had.
Oh,
sorry.
burger. Okay, I was gonna say, how is the best meat you ever had ground?
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah,
can't be
the
right.
best burger I've ever had is muffalo burgers.
All right. Well, you know what you need to do, folks. If you've got moose or buffalo, send them to itsrare@gmail.com
There you go.
and we'll mix them together and we'll have muffalo burgers on the podcast.
Yeah, I was actually reading a thing. Do you know the whitetail deer from like people that hunt and eat everything is the lowest wild game? Like that'll be the least favorite of anything.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Do you
Interesting.
think it's because they're so lean?
It's common. Yeah, the fat in venison is not good.
What do you think? Do you think elk will have like more
Deer fat doesn't taste good is the thing.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's got like a bad texture and it's got a bad flavor. So that's why it's so lean.
Yeah.
That's why you got to use butter or you got to mix in some pork fat or something
We'll
like
use
that.
bacon
Use some
fat.
bacon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dice up some bacon and grind that in there or whatever you got to do.
I mean, we eat it. That's all we. As a kid, I told Mary as a child, beef was always a delicacy in the
Yeah.
house. It really
Yeah,
was. Like
me
that's
too.
all we've
Me
ever
too.
eaten
Yeah.
is venison. So, but when I started getting 80-20 beef and then started getting like good steaks and shit, like Black Angus, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like I never experienced. It's so good. It's so rich. It's nowhere near as good. Deer. I mean, I just think about like I used to
venison.
eat so much. Like I used to have like 2 cheeseburgers like at dinner, and I was always like, I'm never skinny, but I was like, how am I not the size of a house? And it was because we ate venison. That was it.
One of my favorite meals when I was a kid was venison roast, and it would just be my dad would just use the crock pot
Mhm.
and he'd put the meat in there and then take a packet of onion soup mix
Okay.
and pour that over the top of it and then just like set it and forget it for like 3 hours, whatever, maybe some potatoes in there.
I was gonna say you need carrots and
soak it up.
potatoes, right?
Yeah, some carrots and potatoes. But then with white rice.
Ooh,
And
that
then
sounds pretty
he'd
good.
take the juice and make gravy out of it
Damn.
and then put that over the top of the rice. And
He went
and the
above and
venison.
beyond. He made gravy too.
Oh, hell
there
yeah.
you go.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
you know, like sometimes gravy or sometimes just use the juices.
Yeah.
But you get those juices and some rice, like some white rice, and it just soaks it up. It's sweet.
I don't really like roast. Like I don't like roasts in general. Like beef, venison, pork. Like never been much of a.
It's hard to make them good. Yeah.
They
dry
And
out.
I'm not gonna say
A lot of
that
times they dry
somebody
out.
can't change it, but
Yeah.
that's the problem is they're dry as hell.
Yeah. That's
And
why you have to use the gravy or,
Yeah.
you know.
I'd much rather have I'd rather cut that roast up and can it, and then cook those that canned.
Or make jerky out of it.
Or you can make jerky, but we can a lot of it. And then what you do is we do the same, like instead of a roast, we do that, cook all the canned meat, put it over rice out in like a gravy. So
It's good.
yeah, I just don't like roast because they're dry as shit. So
Yeah. It's hard to make a roast
Mary,
and not ruin it when
I-
it's not fatty.
I handed Mary that deer heart yesterday while it was still like warm and beating, like kind of, I still like beating halfway because I ripped out the deer's chest and like handed it to her.
Like if you touched it with a 9-volt battery, it would still
oh yeah.
contract.
And she's like, will you get that thing away from my table? You're getting blood everywhere. She's freaking out. She's like losing her mind. She's like, I'm like, you're a nurse and you can't handle a deer heart. And she's like, you're just making a mess. Okay. And I'm like, here, touch it. Like she wouldn't touch the heart. So sorry, Phil.
Are you sure you locked the door?
Yeah. It's upstairs.
That's crazy how
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
sound carries.
So that was
Sorry, I got distracted.
why is Ruth's picture like that? Ruth, are you a spy? Are you incognito?
She's in collusion with newbie.
Oh God. Ruth, Ruth can speak German, not Russian.
Oh, she's with the German spies.
Yeah.
We better not try to, go to any temples of doom or anything like that.
Yeah. Mary's half Irish, so she might have some Irish she can throw out there. I don't know. Like isn't Celtic actually a language?
Gaelic.
Gaelic, that's what it is.
Gaelic, yeah.
That's the word.
But there's different Gaelics. There's Scottish Gaelic, Irish Gaelic.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there's different dialects. Yeah. Can't believe you got blood all over Mary's clean table and floors.
Dude, my dog was so happy. I came in with blood all over my shoes. Dude, that dog was just like,
oh yeah,
boom.
yeah.
It licked him clean. I was like, I'm
He
glad I don't
follow
have
you
to wash
around.
him. Oh yeah, little shit. She's all excited.
Yeah, they do that.
She was all happy. She kept smelling my pants. She's like, what is that smell? Like, what is that?
Hawkeye goes crazy if he gets a scent of that on your leg or something on your pants.
I'll question the door is a weekly thing. That's true, noob.
This is the part of the show where we try to figure out if the door is locked.
It is a weekly thing.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said that we need to have that we should have some recurring person. And I was thinking, I'm like, man, that's Dawn, right? That we should have some recurring person that comes on and airs grievances or something.
Yeah, that would be Mom. That's for sure.
Yeah, Festivus is coming up pretty soon.
What's that?
Festivus is kind of, Jewish people celebrate Hanukkah, Christians celebrate Christmas, but then the rest of us need some kind of holiday. And so last year,
you don't celebrate
it's rare.
Christmas?
I don't really care for it. So last year, it's rare, started this tradition of celebrating Festivus. So maybe when we get our Christmas card made, maybe we can get a Festivus card too. And I've got a Festivus pole. Because we use a pole instead of
that's not your penis.
Instead of a tree. No, it's a
okay.
Yeah. I got a Festivus pole. We have to go harvest it from the pole farm, and there's no tinsel. It's too distracting.
Where do you get a pole?
And then there's
pole farm. Wait, where are pole farms at?
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll do a video of harvesting.
You see,
Festivus pole.
Christmas is like one of my favorite holidays.
Really?
Yeah, I love it.
I don't care for it.
I love Christmas. I love everything it stands for. I love just everything about it. My favorite thing is to make other people happy. So Christmas to me is awesome. I love it because I spend a lot of money on other people and it makes them happy. So there you go.
I started a thing last year. I decided, I don't want, I never wanted stuff. I don't like stuff. I don't need stuff. I don't think other people probably need stuff.
But he'll take deer hearts.
I'll take deer hearts. But I like, doing things. It's like Christmas is supposed to be about being together. So I decided that, why don't we just save our money and go do something together instead? And so that's what I like is
Nice.
Let's go do something together.
Yeah.
Take our money and let's go fishing, or let's go let's get a cabin for the weekend or whatever, do something.
But isn't there, you don't feel the holiday spirit during Christmas? You really don't feel it? You don't feel
No.
nothing. You get
No,
nothing
I don't have
from it.
spirits. But
I have a lot. They're upstairs.
Newbie knows about Festivus. Yeah, so the thing is, Festivus isn't over until somebody pins me, right, Newbie?
Like, pin you how?
Like wrestling.
Physically
Yeah.
wrestle you down
Yeah.
and pin you.
Yeah, we start off with the airing of grievances.
Okay.
So everybody has to, tell all their problems that they've got with other people.
We'd be here a long time if I did that. We would never leave this fucking building. This podcast would go till 10 o'clock tonight if I was to air my grievances.
Yeah. It starts with airing of grievances,
Okay.
and then it ends when somebody pins me.
Sounds like a horrible holiday.
Yeah, well, it was invented on Seinfeld,
Really?
George, did you ever watch Seinfeld?
No,
Yeah. So do you know anything about it?
I
So,
know.
Costanza.
I know the soup Nazi.
So George Costanza,
No soup for you.
who was kind of created to be like Larry David. You know who Larry David is. Basically, he's Larry David in a different form. And his dad in this movie or in this TV show decided that he was going to create this. It's a Festivus for the rest of us. And
yeah,
that's a whole.
I can't get on. I can't get on board, Phil. I do.
Well, I'm going to show. I'll send you the episode. You can watch
your
it.
holidays.
We have Festivus.
Yeah.
Last year, so we had a special Festivus episode of It's Rare last year.
Okay.
And I actually
did. You get pinned?
No. No. Well, yeah. Actually, we did. I did get pinned. We had a thumb wrestling match.
Who?
Marianne and I. And so Marianne beat me in a thumb wrestling match.
She's gonna pin you this year, I have a feeling.
So I was asking people to send in their grievances, and I'll ask that again this year. If we can get some folks to send in what grievances you have, then we'll read them on air. And
I don't take grievances well, just so people know. I take them personally, so don't do it.
Jesse's very emotional, so
don't send any grievances about me. I'll hold a grudge.
It doesn't have to be about us.
It'll be your heart that I give Phil next.
It doesn't have to be about us.
Just warning everybody.
But one guy said that his grievance, and I was like, oh, this is kind of stupid. But because he was just trying to make fun of it.
Yeah. And
I was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna go. Like, I'm gonna do this. So his grievance was that he didn't know whether pancakes or waffles were more aerodynamic.
There's only one way to figure it out.
Yeah, you have to build a trebuchet and launch them and see which one goes further.
Why a trebuchet?
It's probably the best medieval siege weapon that's in existence. So
I would think.
So there's actually an official It's Rare trebuchet. I've got it.
Why not like a big rubber band? Just fucking yank that thing back and let it fly.
Yeah, you could do that if you wanted to be boring.
Yeah. Well, I just don't have time to build it.
Yeah, so it took me like a day.
How big is it?
It's like it's not that big.
Well, then it's not very aerodynamic. The velocity's not very good.
I tell you what, a Mandarin Orange.
Could you siege a castle?
Small castle.
Like how small? Like a Lego castle?
Like the castle from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I could siege the shit out of that.
More fun, Mary. You don't even know what a trebuchet. Don't stop it, Mayor.
So
wait. Is it a trebuchet with like the slingy rope?
Yeah.
Or you did like a real trebuchet.
I built
not
a
a catapult. You did the trebuchet.
Yes.
You crazy son of a bitch.
Yeah, I built a trebuchet, and the counterweight.
Mary thinks you're talking about a catapult. I'm telling you, I know she does.
The counterweight is just is bullets for reloading. I've got like all my extra 44 bullets in a bag at the end of it, and that's what the counterweight is. And I'll tell you what, safe. It launches a Mandarin Orange like 40 feet.
So you could definitely siege something. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's impressive.
Maybe you could pull it.
So what I learned is Mandarin Oranges are by far the most aerodynamic breakfast food.
What if you brought it out in front of the 18th Amendment and like threatened to like overtake the 18th Amendment? That would give us good publicity.
It would probably break the window.
Well, don't actually do it. What you're doing is you're like, you come all dressed and you're.
Do I wear a kilt?
Whatever. And then
I don't know what I wear. I figure it feels like something you'd wear a kilt to a siege. Typically, right. I don't know.
And you siege us, and we'll have all the news people here because it'll be like crazy man in kilt sieges 18th Amendment, and just put a huge "It's Rare" sticker on your trebuchet.
There already is one. It's got the whole stanchion has It's Rare painted on it.
And that would be the best publicity we could ever get. I mean, maybe he'll do a night or two in jail.
You think we need stunts like that for publicity? You think I should go to jail for sieging you with breakfast food?
No, that's a horrible reason to go. But knowing our cops, yeah, probably would.
Maybe. It might not be the best
crazy plan. Man. And I think the only reason they would probably arrest you is the fact that you weren't using maple syrup on your waffles or pancakes when you're throwing them.
Well, as a carnivore, that's the only use that I have for those types of breakfast foods.
Any flour food will be used as weapons for you.
You know what? Maybe I'll use eggs.
Whatever you got to do, we'll just send them flying. Yeah, so that's what you should do, is just siege the 18th Amendment. You and Hawkeye. Your royal hound. Have him outside.
He'll keep everybody away from me because they'll be too busy petting him.
There you go. You'll be all set. I'm sure Mary will probably join your side of the siege anyways. She'll throw the white flag.
I think it's a defensible position,
Yeah, you'll be on the street. You'll be in trouble. I don't know. Maybe you'll have to go on the other sidewalk.
I'll go from the other sidewalk and
just launch it. Oh God. Can you see Charlie? Charlie's drunk ass. Phil, what the fuck are you doing down there?
I just launch an egg at him.
Yeah, right through his upstairs window and hit him. Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It was a fun little project.
I like it. We could definitely siege Newbie with it. Just Newbie himself.
Maybe we should have a mini.
We could hold him like in his car hostage with their trebuchet.
Do you think next summer we should have like a mini trebuchet competition?
Yeah, a pumpkin one.
I don't know about pumpkins.
Watermelons.
Maybe like grapefruits or something, like something small. Because I'm talking like we should have a height limit, because otherwise, because trebuchets are so powerful that we don't want something that's going to launch a half mile. We want something that's going to launch like 150 feet.
I want to try to stand there and get hit by it.
Unless we're doing it at can we do it at the distillery?
Trebuchet people, yeah. Like, can we?
No, not at the distillery, but at the distillery, we could have a trebuchet competition. Then we could launch pumpkins there.
How much power would you have to launch a person?
Man, it's not a good idea.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not a good idea.
It's always a good idea.
You're gonna launch a person?
Yeah.
They'll die.
No, bullshit. We'll pad, they'll fall.
They'll die. You know how a trebuchet works?
I know how it works. They'll be fucking flipping through the air.
Fucking die. They'd die before they made it into the air.
Jared won't die.
They'd have Jared slam against one of the. Oh, it's Jared.
Mary.
Yeah.
Jared won't die, will he? We've tried. He won't. That's the things I used to do to that kid. He will not die. The crazy shit that I put that poor kid through.
How great of an event would that be at the distillery, though? So many people will come and drink bourbon and launch shit.
It seems like something you want to do at like a Scottish or Celtic place, or Irish, seems like.
Yeah.
I
mean, maybe.
Seems like something that would want to happen at the Scottish Festival in Dundee.
I don't know how much
have you ever been to
space
that?
You have there. Yeah. I sold cookies there one year. It rained though. I didn't sell that many.
That is the worst event. I hate to say that. It
wasn't good.
It's not ran well.
Yeah, I know. It's hard for me to tell because it was just such a shitty day. I made like $300. It wasn't good. Like I need to make at least 3 times that.
Yeah,
at that festival to make it worth my time.
Did you wear your kilt?
Yeah, I was wearing kilt.
And only $300.
It was raining. Like there was nobody there. I think I sold cookies to everybody that was there twice. And yeah,
nice.
Yeah. But that's it. I can sell the hell out of some cookies.
Are waffles and pancakes a breakfast food? Mary wants to know.
Now, she wants to know if mandarin oranges are a breakfast food. And I say yes.
Converting potential energy effectively to kinetic energy. I'm sure there's a good formula for that. What's he trying to get at? Nope. You're going to have to dumb it down a little bit over there.
No, he's saying is that there's a formula to figure out what we need to do to launch a human being.
Oh, newbie, will you be the sacrifice?
And
if you survive, I'll go next.
I think that we have to have
Mary. She should go first.
How heavy is the person?
Should we use Mary?
No.
Why? She's not very heavy.
We should find somebody else that's not very heavy. So say we've got a 120-pound human being.
Kaylin. We'll use my little cousin Kaylin.
We'd have to have.
She's the devil.
I think that the answer is no. That's the ratio for the arm. I think you have to have 3 times the weight at least. I think it might be more than that.
So you'd have to have a heavy ass counterweight.
Because it's a so what you have for the actual like the arm on it that attaches to the rope and the weight. The arm is like 4.125 to 1 ratio of to make it optimal.
Gotcha.
And then the rope, like from the end of the sling to there, is also that 4.125 or whatever. So it's like the same length as it is from the fulcrum.
I feel like we should start like a Jackass for It's Rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Do crazy shit.
We'll do crazy shit.
So
I don't
anyways,
think it has to be like
we should do a
Jackassy, though.
holiday special. It's Rare. Not a
Festivus.
Not a Festivus.
We'll do
That sounds
the Festivus
sounds-
show.
no.
It was a big hit last year.
Yeah, okay. You know
It's a
what?
good tradition.
I don't want to come in here and change things. So I guess we can call it what I'm gonna celebrate. The one where you celebrate Krampus, not Santa.
Look, this is a family affair, so what we can do is
What's the holiday that celebrates Krampus?
I don't know.
You know what Krampus is, right?
No.
It's like a Norwegian. I think even in Germany they have it too. Like if you're fucking bad, like it's not that you don't get presents. It's this fucking demon Santa Claus comes in
He
your
just
house
comes
and
around
murders
fucks with
you and takes you and shit. Like yeah. So that's Krampus.
No, we can do. Yeah, why don't we just we'll do Festivus the week before Christmas,
Okay.
and then we'll do something else the week after Christmas.
Yeah.
He looks Catholic.
Punishes children who have misbehaved.
Does he look Catholic? He looks like the Pope.
No, that is the Pope. It's
does the-
behind the Pope. It's the
Oh, I
demon.
was like,
Yeah.
oh, Jesus, I didn't see that. That looks like the devil.
Yeah,
It's like the devil is messing with the Pope.
it's to scare children.
And was the
Mary
Pope
says.
like? What's the Pope doing to that kid?
That's what Krampus looks like.
Come on, Catholics, get it together.
You don't want to fuck with Krampus, dude.
Oh, Krampus looks. Wow.
Yeah, that's like over in.
They're like, how scary can we make him look?
So in fucking like Switzerland, like fucking Norway, all over there, Krampus is like that's what little kids.
Well, maybe
think
we
they're
should
gonna come
celebrate that when we go hunt Steinbachs.
for. Yeah,
in
so
Switzerland.
and we'll have wassail, and
Fucking love Wassel.
we can have some. I'll bring some coquito. Why don't you try it?
Yeah, I'll try coquito.
Yeah,
Maybe we can have that for the podcast one week.
that's what I was saying. We should do
Yeah.
for like the holiday thing. We'll
Oh,
bring
and beverages.
We'll bring like the holiday beverages, wassail and that, and
Yeah, I should make a batch of.
yes, Krampus. Yes, Newbert.
I can. I think I should make a big batch of wassail, and then I think I can freeze it. I don't know if it'll freeze, but I think if I keep it in the freezer.
I don't want your frozen processed wassail.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like I think it'll keep.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I could make a big batch and then
Counts
just
what the alcohol content is.
bring
So,
jugs of it. I don't know. It's got a lot of bourbon in it and a lot of rum and wine.
Yeah, as long as it's over 70 proof.
It's not going to be over
shouldn't,
70 proof, I don't think.
Freeze. Oh.
But it'll get you lit up because
Fucking
it sneaks up on you. It sneaks up on you
We should do
like crazy.
for a holiday party. We should have a legit party, and like just have this thing running during the party,
Just record a party.
and interview people during the party.
Do you think
It would be the biggest shit show ever.
we have to take it all upstairs?
Yeah.
But we can't have more than 10 people, or they can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'd have to do it on private property unless.
Yeah, this is private property.
Well, you know what I mean,
When
though.
the
Like
doors are closed.
we have to do it in a private residence
Yeah.
or something. We can only have 10 people, right?
Newbie lives in this basement.
I don't know what the hell.
This is Newbie's basement.
I don't know what the
He
hell the
owns it.
rules are, but that sounds kind of awesome.
Yeah. It'll be hilarious.
It sounds like a super spreader event. We're gonna be hosting a holiday super spreader.
We have video evidence of where the
and,
COVID
and we're gonna stream it live so they can come down and put a stop to it.
Did you see the Geneva sheriff said he will not be enforcing any bullshit?
Oh yeah, all of them have. Actually, let me
Not Ron Spike, I'm sure.
I'm gonna read. I don't think Ron Spike has said anything.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
You don't think he would?
No, he's such a pansy ass.
Why don't you run for sheriff?
I would love to. I would love to. I would never get it, but I'd love to run for it. Oh. But I got to get judge first, because I think once I get judge, I'll have a little weight under me to go for bigger positions. So.
Okay, you do. So you're gonna do judge
of Barrington,
and then
I'm gonna try to slowly work my way up the ladder to being king of the world.
That sounds pretty good. Yeah, you want to be king of the world.
Yeah.
So I got to find this.
Mary doesn't like the sound of it. That means you'd be queen.
Yeah, you could be queen of the world.
You wouldn't be
all right.
You'd be a weird queen, Mary. You'd just be too nice.
So from the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office, I'm just going to read this, the note that they put out on the 18th, so 4 days ago. The Allegheny Sheriff's Office will not be enforcing the governor's executive order. The governor's executive order 202.74 limiting gatherings in private homes to no more than 10 people raises many problematic issues. The governor's press release announcing the executive order states several times that it is the responsibility of local governments to enforce the order. It does not explain why it is the responsibility of local law enforcement officers who do not answer to him, rather than the responsibility of his own state police who do answer to him. One explanation may be a recognition that the order is probably unenforceable, and hence the desire to shift responsibility for the failure of enforcement from the state to the local government.
Ouch.
Burn.
That hurt.
Enforcement of the executive order raises serious constitutional questions, serious issues about the right of people to privacy in their homes, the right to be free from warrantless searches, the right to assemble, the right to freedom of religious practice, the right to equal treatment under the law, and the right to have criminal conduct clearly defined by law are all implicated in the governor's executive order. We are not encouraging people to have large gatherings in their homes. We want citizens to use their own best judgment and remain safe.
Wait, did you hear that? We want people to use their best judgment, like they're supposed to do?
Yeah.
Just like kind of what you and the Libertarian Party have been pushing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
this is by a sheriff.
This is a sheriff. I love this. This is, we do not know the correct number for safety. We doubt if anyone does. Would a gathering of 11 people be substantially more dangerous than a gathering of 10? Or would a gathering of 9 people be substantially less dangerous? We think a lot of factors would come into play in determining how many people to have in your home. Are any of them at high risk? From where are they traveling? Is it more or less likely that they have been recently exposed to the disease? Are they regularly in your circle of contacts anyway? Is your home large enough that you can safely accommodate a larger number of guests? We think that rather than issuing orders which are at best impossible to enforce and at worst unconstitutional, the governor would serve the people of New York better if he used his bully pulpit not to do more bullying, but rather to encourage our citizens to be cautious, use judgment in weighing risk factors, protect the vulnerable, and enjoy your families and our great gathering traditions only in ways that are safe until we can get back to normal. This is what I intend to do for the citizens of Allegheny County, and I think we'd all be served, that end quote, I think we'd all be served to have somebody like that in charge of our law enforcement and use that not just for these idiotic executive orders, but in general, just in general, that's I think an awesome approach.
You won't believe what these people in New York City think of Cuomo. They honestly think he is a god.
I was there.
It's insane.
Yeah. No.
They'll be like,
they loved it.
The poise he showed during his talks and the way he took everything by control. I had a person in my bar tell me, and I go,
Yep.
You do know
They think it's great.
Trump tried to shut down the airport in New York City when this all first started happening, stopping all travel, and Cuomo sued him, saying it was unconstitutional for him to stop travel and xenophobic. That never happened. I'm like, bullshit, look it up. He lost his fucking mind when Trump told him that.
Mhm.
Like, there's no way we're going to do it. Then all of a sudden, it's Trump's fault, not Cuomo's fault for not acting quick enough. And I'm like, you people down there are missing the fucking point. That he goes on and talks and acts like he talks like a bully. They don't like Trump.
Yes.
And he's Trump, but
he's a
well
demagogue.
spoken.
Yeah, he's a demagogue, just like Trump is.
He's just better, well spoken, knows how to say it, and he knows how to manipulate people. He's good at it. I mean, I'm not trying to pick on people's culture, but he's an Italian guy, and you can tell he comes from the background. He's smooth talking. He's got that thing, and he's got that bully voice. You know, it's just like there's Italians in my family. I know it, and I've been around.
He talks like, you know what you're gonna do?
Yeah, he is. He's like a boss, like a mafia boss.
I'm gonna make you an offer.
Yeah.
That you cannot refuse.
Tell me I'm wrong.
That you're gonna shut down your business, or I'm gonna shut it down for you.
Yeah, I mean he's a bully, and like that guy said, and everyone was, Trump's a bully. He says you're not getting much better with Cuomo. Just because he says it in a more eloquent way doesn't mean he's any better.
Have you read the news in the past 2.5 days?
Yeah. I don't know how much because I've been hunting a lot.
Have you seen anything about Cuomo in the news?
I don't think so. Then no.
Andrew Cuomo will be receiving an Emmy.
Oh, an Emmy. Yes, I did see that. Didn't you tell me yesterday? Yes, you were on the phone drunk, yelling about Cuomo. Sorry, he was on the phone. Drunk, Christ. Yelling about Cuomo having an Emmy while playing Thunderstruck drinking game.
Your dad made me play Thunderstruck.
No, this was before Thunderstruck. You're like, he's getting a fucking Emmy. I'm like, Jesus,
he's getting a fucking Emmy for being a steaming pile of shit. I'm sorry.
Oh, God. My thing that kills me with this, and now I'm a little fired up, my blood's going, is I don't understand how these people in New York City don't see what's going on. I
don't know either.
I don't know. Listen, I'm not for full freedom. Sure, I like a little bit of restriction here and there. Maybe I'm not a libertarian. Maybe I am conservative, and I like some conservative ways. But the way Cuomo wants, he's like a dictator. He really is. Yes. These mandates are getting out of control. How far are you going to let him go?
Right.
Like these people,
we need to reel him in, but we don't have anybody in the state legislature to do it.
People are backing this 10 people up at a party. They think it's great.
Yep.
They think it's great that they can call their neighbors in.
Oh yeah.
People
love that.
Fucking love this.
People love that.
That's scary.
It is.
It's fucking scary, dude. Like how far does it go? At this point, it seems like, and I was listening to
when we're turning in our neighbors, that's a road that I do not want to go on.
So everyone knows that I'm a Republican, but I was watching a thing with Ben Carson, and out of all he was saying, like, even himself with his stance, he was saying how, like, it's some of the shit's getting out of control. Like, we're starting to get to the point where all the governors they're like taking over.
Right. Yeah.
And like, what do you do at this point? I don't know.
Well, you got to get the legislatures to go after them. And what we have is a fully, we've got a one-party government in New York. We haven't always had that. It was, we had a Republican assembly up until, I want to say, last year. And so it was at least split. So there was somebody that would resist the governor, but we don't have that anymore. And so he's pretty much able to do whatever he wants. So
is he for small business?
Cuomo?
Do you think at all? I mean, I know he's helped out doing like the wineries and breweries, but honestly, this comes to me wanting to do the marijuana thing.
Yeah.
Because he's putting such high restrictions that he's only allowing big business in.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think he wants to say that he's for small business. All politicians want to look like they're for small business, like they're helping small business. But what it comes down to is you've got to think critically and say, okay, are the things that are happening, are the policies that you're putting in place, are they good for small business? And I don't think he's good for small business.
He's not good for
He's
any
not.
business.
He's not. Well, he's good for big business because, like you
he's
said,
great for it.
if you make it so that you have to have $1 million of capital and you can't take federal loans, and you can't take a bank from a loan that's federally insured because it's against federal law. They're colluding. But so it makes it so that the only people that can get into that industry are businesses that are already big business. You can't start small and grow when you have to have probably $1 million to get off the ground.
Yeah.
And you can't take a loan.
I read a thing and it made sense. I wonder if you read the same thing. It was, why are banks so excited to give 18-year-old kids that want to go party and drink and fuck around at a college with some stupid ass liberal arts degree $100,000, but not give an 18-year-old kid $100,000 and wants to start his own business? I mean, what's the difference? Is there like something that college kids get? Like, is there some sort of like, do the banks get something for them, the college kids? Like, I don't know. I'm serious. Like,
What do you mean?
Like, is there some sort of safety measure for them?
Well, yeah, there is. Right now, they passed a law, or there was a court case, or I'm not sure which, around 2001 or 2002, that changed bankruptcy.
Okay.
So if your business went under, you could file bankruptcy and you could disown your debt. However it was adjudicated.
Yeah.
Student loans are not covered by that anymore. You cannot discharge student loans through bankruptcy anymore. So that is one thing that protects the banks, is they are going to get their money from you.
Well, that answers the question for me then.
And
so that's why.
And there's another reason. And now it's the whole student loan system's changed again. And what that is the banks are not where the money is coming from for student loans anymore. The money, my student loans were all purchased by, well, I mean, you can get private student loans, of course, but if all of my student loans are federal.
Really?
So all of my student debt is owned by the U.S. government, by the Department of Education. It's insured. It's all. That's what it is. So
sorry, guys.
So not only are they going to get that money, they're going to get that money 100%.
Huh.
And of course, mine will be forgiven soon.
So that's why,
because of my public service. But that.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, I'm hoping next year. I gotta go back and do the math, but I think maybe next year that mine will all be forgiven because of my public service.
That's a great idea. I can get down with that.
Yeah.
I can't get down with them paying for kids that haven't done a fucking thing with their lives.
I'm gonna take advantage of it. I'm not 100% for it or against it.
For public service, I think that's pretty
right. But now you're paying for my student loans.
Well,
right?
I'd rather pay for
like
somebody
that, right?
Who's doing public service
and
actually helping their community than
right.
some fucking dickhead that's doing nothing.
Now here's the other thing to consider, though,
drink
right?
Coffee and chill out.
And I talk about this a lot, but when the reason that the cost of college is so high is because of what you're saying, right? An 18-year-old can get $100,000 plus of loans, which why should they be able to get that loan? They are insured, like they've got all these different measures, and it makes it so, like, really, and when you're 18, you don't know. I mean, maybe you did a little bit better than some of us,
really.
But you don't even know what the hell money is. Like, I was looking at professions, and I'm like, oh, if I'm an athletic trainer, I can make $32,000 a year, and I'm like, wow, that's like more money than I've ever imagined. I thought that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And where I grew up kind of was like where I grew up, you buy a house for $40,000. You could buy a nice house in my town when I was a kid for $40,000.
Jesus.
And so, and I mean, nice, like as nice as they get. Like it's not an area where,
right.
Like, so the cost of living is very low. I thought, man, yeah, I'll be doing all right if I can make that much money. Well, get down the road, and now you understand money, and that's not really what you're going for. So
32,000 is a little bit harder to live off nowadays.
of course, that was the average then. That's not the average now, but it's still far lower than other healthcare professions. Unfortunately, yeah.
Hey, I didn't even know much about really investing until I started dating Mary. Like, she's way more money conscious than I was. Like, and that's something that there's so many things I think you should be taught in school that you just don't get taught, and it's crazy. Like, of basics. Well, why is there not a basic life course? And everyone's like, well, it's the parents' job to teach basic life skills.
Yeah, and a lot of parents think that
and
too.
Some of it is, but there is some things. There's some parents that don't know how to do their own taxes.
Yes.
There's some parents that don't know how to change a tire on a car. They don't know. So
Yeah.
how can they teach basic life skills that even the parents were never taught? At some point, you got to get to, there's certain things you have to teach kids. Like, the thing I liked about my school that was really cool, they taught us how to, they signed us up to vote. They taught us the voting system. Nothing was pushed on us.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you vote. Sign up to vote here. There was also, oh, there you go. There's Mary's dad, Paul. Yeah, Paul was he's in the Navy, so Navy guy. Yeah, is there anything for that for people that serve?
Yeah, GI Bill.
And they get all their. Oh, that's true. They get all their.
I'm not sure I don't know if it covers. I don't know what percentage of it covers.
What about previous? If you join,
and if they are in the military for
after
10 years, yeah. If after the fact, if you serve, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm sure there are other programs, but the way that my public service loan forgiveness works is you have to work full time in a public service occupation. Well, for a public service employer for 10 years.
Gotcha.
And be up to date on your loans for that entire time. And then once that's done, then you get forgiven.
Yeah. Well, the main thing, you going down to New York City, that should be something for people that did that.
I'd love for them to just not make me pay taxes this year.
Yeah, for going down there and fucking doing that shit. That's crazy.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'd love to not have to pay taxes this year. But yeah, they're not going to do shit for us. But
we're on kind of on the same boat. We're both like what Paul said. Like, we don't really enjoy of course you're going to why wouldn't you take advantage of it? I would take advantage of it. But no one wants to be, it's like anything else. No one wants to help someone else who put themselves in a bad situation.
Right.
It's not, you didn't sign up for that. I did all the right things, so I didn't have to do that. And I think you said something before. Some people want to be free. Other people like a little freedom. Some people like a lot of freedom. I feel like the Republican Party, it's like they want the little bit of freedom. And the main thing is they don't want to be the ones that have to take care of other people.
Right.
I think that's their main whole goal is like, we don't want to pay for your welfare, your food stamps. We don't want to pay for your disability. We don't want to pay for. Oh, I really think that's the main thing.
Yeah, there's something that you might want to try. I think you'd enjoy this. It takes like an hour and a half or 2 hours tops, but and maybe our listeners. But there's a website called Open Mind Platform. And what it is it kind of takes you through different kind of thought experiments. And one of the things it talks about is, or am I thinking of something? I think it's Open Mind Platform. But one of the things it talks about is how different people think through things, and how they value things differently. It breaks it down to like 5 or 7 different kind of values that people have. And for people who are more on the liberal end of the political spectrum, they place a lot of value on caring and making sure that everybody's taken care of.
Right.
And for people more toward the conservative end of the spectrum politically, that they place more value on fairness.
Gotcha.
And
Which
so
makes
they want
sense,
things
yeah.
to be fair. So they're like, oh, well, like if you work for it, then you'll have it.
Right.
And then that's fair. Like the people that worked for it have it. The liberal people are like, oh, well, they need it, so they should have it. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like they're both valid. The truth is somewhere in between. But they're both valid points of view. They're just like, that's just how they rationalize their point of view, is that they care. So they want to make sure that people are taken care of. And they're, the conservatives want things to be fair. If you work for it, you get it. If, there's natural consequences to things. And so it's just kind of an interesting way to.
What'd you call it again?
Open mind platform.
Okay. That brings up something, kind of the same thing. It was like they were like asking just things to like kind of get your brain thinking. What if you got to choose what your taxes went to?
I love it. Yeah.
That was something that came up, and
you'd be more likely to want to pay them.
Well, you're going to pay them either way, but
Yeah.
would you feel as bad if you got to choose where your taxes went? I know that means now, of course, some things are not going to get as much money.
That's
So,
exactly.
Yeah, but
some things won't get as much money.
But do we care about that?
I take it a step further. So
Okay.
So libertarians have this phrase, taxation is theft. All taxation is theft. Unless you're voluntarily giving your money for something, eventually they will come point a gun at you and take your money or put you in jail.
Yeah.
Like that's every time you pass a tax, it's like, if you don't pay it, eventually they're going to come like that's a violent act. They're stealing your money. And if you don't pay it, they're going to put you in jail eventually.
Or you'll be living
that's
under a freeway holding a sign up.
But one way that I look at being okay with paying taxes is like, we can all agree, we want to have, the argument that everybody always makes. And there were roads before there was an income tax. Okay. Listen, people, there were roads before there was an income tax.
Maybe they were dirt roads and we rode our horses, but they were there.
They were there. Right. So anyway, long story short is, we look at things like, we can all agree we want roads and we want them to be maintained. We want to have a fire department. Most of us want to have law enforcement in some capacity. We want to have, court systems. We want to have this public infrastructure. We want to have, whatever. There's a lot of different programs that we like, that we don't want to get rid of. Well, so what I am for, and it doesn't really matter that I'm for it because it's never going to happen. But what I'm for is a voluntary tax. So, right.
Who the hell's going to voluntarily give their money away, Phil?
Well, here's the thing, right? This is your chance to vote on what money's going toward, right? So if you don't think that you care about anything enough to fund it, then you won't. If you do, then you will. So like if you want to be able to so that I add another twist to my version of this voluntary tax. So take the fire department, right? So you can pay 1/2 of 1% of your salary or your home value or whatever toward the fire department. And they take that money. It's like a subscription, right? So for that year, you've paid the fire department tax. And if you have to call the fire department, they come, they take care of whatever the issue is, the fire, the carbon monoxide, whatever, right? If you don't pay it and you have a fire and you call them, then you get a bill for what it costs them to do it.
So they'd still come and do it then.
They'll still come do it.
There you go.
You're still covered.
Yeah.
But now it's like almost like insurance, right? So instead of paying that 0.5 of 1%, now you're going to get a bill for $20,000, right? And then, so you're going to want
that people never pay.
Well, then you get sued or you go to jail. Like that's.
So you're back to the whole going to jail part.
Yeah, it's tricky, but
yeah.
Or you just say, I'm not going to pay it, so don't put it out, or I don't know, whatever. But,
yeah.
So it's complicated. It's more like I'm oversimplifying. So, it's more complicated than that. But if there's a service that you think is important, if you want to make sure that people in your town are fed, You could start a nonprofit to feed them. You could find an existing nonprofit and add that as a service, or you could like try to do it through the government and say, okay, I want some of my money to go toward feeding people. I want to make sure that everybody's fed. We're going to have food stamps. So I want to pitch in toward the food stamps because everybody says, oh yeah, we want to have this tax. But then it's like, oh, but I don't want to pay this tax.
I don't
But
think
if you care about it,
taxes
you'll do
should
it.
be statewide tax. This is what I don't like about taxes. And I like the idea of choosing your own, but I thought it should be county based. I want my
The more
money
local, the better. Yeah.
in my county.
Right.
I don't want it to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about a road all the way up in Old Forge, Adirondacks. Somebody's gonna fucking pay. Doesn't matter to me.
Now, what if
So
just spitballing, and like I said, I already told you what I think would be the best, but what if we took 90% of your tax money and it stays inside the county, and then 10% of it goes into a pool fund that can be accessed for things like emergencies. So that way, like if Yates County had an emergency and our tax money wasn't enough to fix it, like we could still draw from that and be able to take care of.
well, shouldn't
like
shouldn't that be the state's problem then?
But you just said you wanted your money you didn't want to pay statewide taxes.
Right. But what about
So they get their money from taxes. Like they don't otherwise have it.
let's say, so you don't think the state would, so if we don't pay them any tax money, they're not going to collect money off the Powerball
Well, sure,
deals.
they'll
They're
get
not going to
that.
collect money off
Yeah,
of
they'd restructure
all kinds of
everything.
bullshit.
Yeah,
You know, they'd have money.
but that's supposed to all
Isn't
go to
that the
schools.
Is that how it goes, really?
The lottery's all
Oh,
supposed
okay.
to go to schools. Yeah.
Well, they get money from other things other than that too.
Sure.
There's lots of
they have
things
revenue
that they make revenue off.
Yeah.
The state police revenue would still go to them.
Right.
Like, all that stuff. But I think that's where the state would come in as
Which I don't think that law enforcement should be a revenue source.
and that's the problem. But you borrow money from your state and you pay them back. That's what I always said. It's like you pay. I used to say
But they have to have them.
you give 75% of your taxes to your county,
Okay.
and then 25% goes to the state.
Well, yeah. So that's exactly what we were just talking about.
Well, you said
then.
10% here, yeah. So it's
Yeah,
pretty much the same
10%,
thing.
25, whatever. Some of it gets pooled so that if there's an emergency, if there's a major project that needs to be, like this county gets it this year, that other county gets some of it this year,
Yeah.
Whatever.
So your 10% pool was not going to the county; it was going to the state.
Yeah, it was going to.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that stayed in the
No,
county.
it was
in case
going
there
to
was
like
an
a
emergency.
statewide fund.
Cool.
Like
Then,
it,
yeah, we're
so
on the
that
same,
way,
same.
so that way,
boat.
like if we had something really horrible happen here and we had an emergency,
Yeah.
that you could get 10% from all the surrounding counties
Gotcha.
too.
Yeah.
So that that was why I said 10%, is because
Gotcha.
then it's like
I thought you said like 10%
there's
in
an
a pool
emergency
that we
fund.
held on, but
It's
I
like
get what you're
insurance,
saying.
yeah.
In the state, but why?
That way you're pooling
why is
risk.
it not that way? Is it because you're trying to distribute income like socialist already?
it's
because that's what's happening.
It's because the state there's
counties with more money than others, right?
There are.
But isn't that?
the government.
I don't know.
I don't know very many governments that try to get less power.
Of course.
And money is power, and their ability to control your money is their power. So they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, give us less. It's never gonna happen, unless you elect a libertarian. They're the only ones that are gonna give the power back.
If you did that, would you put too much power in your county at that point?
Well, isn't that what you want though? You want the power to be
do you want small county people making decisions like that? I don't know. That's what I'm just saying. I'm thinking of like what could happen bad.
Yeah.
So you're putting a lot of power into your county now.
Yeah.
And how much then does the governor lose all his power?
Yeah.
So now we're breaking it from states to counties,
Right.
govern themselves.
I'd rather have 10 people that live in my community making decisions for my community than some asshole that like goes back and forth between Queens and Albany.
So what power would you want the state to have then? Where do you want we still want the state to be able to set the laws, because you don't want to go from county to county with different laws. It would be a fucking nightmare.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some things like, I don't. I mean, like there are things that we talk about, like licensing, that if you're going to have it, that you kind of want it to be statewide. I don't think that we necessarily need licensing.
Licensing.
Yeah, like professional licenses especially. I don't think that we need those. I don't think we need business licenses. I think and business licenses are already county by county, I believe.
Yeah,
I know you probably, but like the only things that you should even consider having a license, like you shouldn't have to have a license to be a hairdresser. Larry Sharp talks about this, and he basically he says that if you would have your neighbor do it, or your neighbor or your friend, if you would let them do it,
right,
that you shouldn't have to have a license for.
Well,
it.
Since you can't really kill anyone when you're giving them a haircut, I'd say you're pretty safe.
So then when you look at the other kinds of licenses, like say a medical license, like you want your doctor to have a license, right?
Better.
Well, but like, does the license make him a better doctor? No, it just tells you that it's okay for him to be a doctor, right?
It just tells me that I know this guy knows what the fuck he's doing, or should.
The guy, I mean,
I hope so.
The guy that got C's in medical school is a doctor, right? And you don't know whether they were first or last in their class.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as they're licensed, you know that you're covered.
So, okay, so let's
if you went to someone that wasn't, you're like,
So let me ask you this then. Okay, so do you feel like the state would do a better job of managing those licenses and vetting those licenses than the American Medical Association or a professional organization that was specifically there? Like I have multiple credentials, right? So I've got a license from the state for athletic training. I have a national certification that I have to maintain that's more rigorous. So I think my national certification through the Board of Certification, and it requires me to do 50 hours of continuing education for every 2-year period, and I have to recertify stuff. I have to go through all this stuff. I have to take an exam to get initially certified. Like that, why do I have to also do it from the state? If I can show you, hey, look, here's my certificate from the National Board of Certification, like what does the state license add to that?
Well, then there you go. Yeah, I guess
the only thing that the state license adds to that, in my mind, is a protection for our title to make it so that other people can't call themselves that. But at the same time, like we just need to educate people. Our organization needs to educate people that, hey, make sure your people are certified through the Board of Certification, and then you'll have somebody.
Yeah.
Well, same thing. Like any of these professional licenses that we have could be that way.
Yeah. I don't know.
And like babysitters, right? You could have whatever, and we could have multiple ones that compete with each other. Say, okay, well, this one, I want somebody who's certified through this organization because that one I like better. Like,
yeah.
Whatever, it just gives people the choice.
Yeah, it's crazy right now. Hey,
sorry, I'm geeking out on this, but
no, New York State. Just to give everyone a quick example, so I'll tell you what the distillers are going through right now. The distilleries asked if they could ship directly to customers in New York State.
That sounds awesome, especially during a pandemic.
New York State said no.
Yeah, of course
they denied it.
Yeah,
and they had a bunch of reasons why they denied it. But at the end, our lawyer and the assemblyman that they're talking to said they're doing that because they're afraid you're going to send it and they're not going to get any of their money.
Yep.
And how sad is it that instead of giving businesses the freedom to make money like that, you're more concerned about how you're going to lose money?
Yep.
It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. Right now, distilleries. So 2 years ago, we went to the federal government and asked, guys, you're charging us, I think it was $13.50 a gallon in tax for every gallon of liquor we made or sold or whatever. And we said, that's fucking bullshit.
It is. That's a lot of money.
Why are you doing that to us when breweries and wineries aren't even close? Like, why? Well, you have more yours has more alcohol per volume, but we're charging almost the same price as a good bottle of wine, and as much as and whatever. So we get to that. So the government goes, okay, if you make less than 100,000 gallons, we'll charge you $1.70 a gallon. So we won. We're like, oh, sweet. That's cool. So all the distillers in the country are fucking yay. So then so they go to their local states and their local legislations, and everyone's getting their prices dropped. And then everyone puts their sights on New York State and goes, fuck you guys.
Right.
So
yeah, of course.
He's
such a piece of shit.
We're like right now, we pay by the liter. And it's something like for a gallon in New York, it's like $18 a gallon. Jesus. I get taxed.
That's ridiculous.
And other states are paying like, I mean, maybe $1 a gallon.
It's crushing business.
Yeah. So by the time I'm done, I've done the math, and the taxes from paying them, and then the people that buy it from me and then have to wholesale tax and everything, it's like 32% of our profit is like down, because if instead of them having to add tax to all that, we could sell our product for more to them. But since they have to raise their prices because now there's a tax on, or lower their prices because there's a tax on it, so they won't pay as much. So if they didn't have to charge the consumer, like, and this is the thing in business, you never charge odd numbers. It's like there's like a thing, you charge solid numbers. So if I could charge $20 for a bottle of apple pie moonshine, and they buy it, and they have to lower their price because their sales tax, because they want to get that number. Now, if there was no sale tax, I could sell that for $22, and they could, it's just like there's little doubts. So there's a big thing in there that talks about how sales tax is even more taking money from businesses, because you have to lower your price because you have to think about sales tax, especially like a bottle of bourbon's $50, right? Add 8 cents on $50. I mean, that's another now. I mean, if you add it up, yeah. Now you could have had that $4,
right?
Because everyone's trying to change their prices around to make up for sales. It's fucking nuts. And then our prices are so high because we have to spend so much in taxes. So take away what the government taxes, and everything. I guarantee you'd watch liquor prices, all liquor made in New York State go. If you didn't have to pay,
it'd be cheaper,
way cheaper. If I didn't have to pay $18 a gallon. Which then take it in a gallon, there's 5 bottles of liquor. So add $18 to 5 bottles, spread it out. So, I mean, there's another 2.
So it hurts you because you're going to sell less at a higher price potentially, but
hopefully it made sense. I know I was a little everywhere.
You're also not like that cost gets passed on to the customer.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah, and that's all.
So they're not they're not.
That's all they're doing.
It's taking from the consumer.
That's all, and that's why so people don't like this trickle down effect of money, right? But there's almost a truth to it, because the more financially stable I am, the less I'm going to charge for my products, and the more I'm going to pay people, and the more.
The more and you can make
the less money I have to pay out to everyone, and the more I'm getting, the better it is for everyone else. Because then I feel like, I can lower my prices. I feel good about it, and I can pay people more money to work.
But a lot of businesses don't operate that way. A lot of businesses, especially the bigger,
the airlines gave a lot of money.
They're going to make as much money as they can.
They gave a lot of money to their employees, and they gave them better benefits and everything when Trump got in, and everyone was freaking out because he was giving people cuts here. I don't know if you've seen how well everyone's been living for a while. It was working, I noticed it from my point of sale system, and it goes, how much do you make per sale? Before Trump was in, I know I was only 2 years starting, so there's some math that probably doesn't. We were doing about $21 a sale, to go about last year when Trump was in and everyone, to almost $38 per sale.
Wow.
That's huge.
That is. That's a lot.
But think about how financially stable everyone was just 2 years ago. Like you weren't hearing, like it felt like everyone had money. Everyone was going out. Everyone's always going on vacation. Everyone felt good. But about when Obama was in, and I'm not saying it was all him, it didn't feel that way. Everything felt a little tighter. People weren't free throwing their money around. Yeah, I don't know. In 2012, I worked for a repossession company, and they were fucking killing it.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're probably always killing it, though.
No, but they were really killing it. Just see how many people were losing their houses and shit. It was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like, the economy collapsed.
Yeah, that was in like 2009.
No.
08. It start no,
There,
yeah.
well, there's something in 2012.
The housing bubble burst in like 08 or 09.
Yeah, under a Bush presidency. He wasn't very good, trust me. Yeah, magic wand, baby. Oh boy. Hey, we can hop off.
All right.
Just we got some fun stuff next week. Maybe we can get more into it.
Next week
We might have a couple more deer.
we'll have a couple more deer in the freezer, hopefully. And I'll be driving my truck everywhere.
Don't worry, Paul. I'm going to bring you some deer meat. I won't let your daughter keep you without. So,
all right, folks. Thanks for joining us for It's Rare, and have a great Sunday afternoon. If you're out, if you're going to be out hunting, be safe.
Yep.
Good luck.
See you guys.